everyone who are on the channel, adults and children. Today we did not go fishing. The weather is bad, it is clear, there are clouds around, and a strong wind is blowing. Therefore, we went to gather mushrooms. As always, we have a motor, a boat, and a backpack with us. There are knives for cutting mushrooms, a desire, a good mood, and knowledge of fishing spots. We plan to gather oyster mushrooms today, if they are available, and milk caps. And there we will see what will be in the mysterious and enchanting forest and explore together. The rains were light, not very wet. Now there are no donkeys with the fishermen, but we are going out for the first time this year, so we will try to look for something. Well, let's go and see. Here we are at the location. Let's try our first spot that we know. The girl Vasya has already gone.
The scenery here is quite picturesque, featuring beautiful trees that enhance the landscape. The leaves have turned a vibrant red, adding a warm and inviting touch to the area. This transformation highlights the natural beauty and charm of the surroundings, making it a remarkable sight to see.
Let's go and stand up, everyone, please, and join us. The first milk cap has already been found. Someone cut it. You can see the cut, so it was probably a mushroom picker recently. The milk cap is already old, so we didn't take it. Let's go search further. Here it looks like there is another milk. The area is completely covered with a thick layer of grass. Our plan is to carefully cut through this grass and then take a closer look at what lies beneath it. This will help us understand more about the underlying surface and any features that might be hidden from view. Yes, indeed, he is still young, so he will be suitable for preservation here nearby. In this beautiful and lush forest area, you can see a load of this kind of natural beauty and abundance. We are enthusiastically gathering oyster mushrooms, which are known for their delicious taste and health benefits. But if we come across milk caps, which are also quite delightful and nutritious, that would be good too. Let's go look for them with excitement and curiosity, exploring the wonders of nature. Kovas, the experienced and cautious individual, is carefully and slowly stepping back from the situation. The forest smells of mushrooms, and the air is filled with their earthy aroma, which means they are already here. Here is another clearing. Milk caps, a type of mushroom, are often found growing together in clusters. These mushrooms thrive in various environments, particularly in forests, where the soil is rich and damp. The caps of these mushrooms can vary in color, from creamy white to deep orange, and they often have a slightly sticky texture. Milk caps play an important role in the ecosystem by breaking down organic matter, which helps maintain soil health. Some species are edible and are sought after by foragers for their unique flavor. Observing milk caps in their natural habitat is a fascinating experience, as they highlight the diversity and complexity of fungal life. Milk caps are conditionally edible, so they will need to be immersed for 2 days, for example, before starting the pickling process. The old ones are clearly visible to us, but unfortunately they are not going to be effective or suitable for our current needs and requirements. Empty ones are still good. It's preferable to take young ones, as they are not as bitter and have a pleasant taste. It is clear that there are a lot of trees lying here, cooked from last year. But unfortunately, no oyster mushrooms have been found in such promising shady spots, although there are many fallen poplars here. They mainly grow on poplars and other similar loose types of trees such as poplars. Since we can't see anything yet, let's walk a bit further and see if there might be an older spot somewhere in this area where oyster mushrooms have already appeared, perhaps hidden under some leaves or behind a tree. On the trees, we can already see small and thriving mushroom colonies of wooden mushrooms. We don't need that at this moment. Let's go further. Let us proceed further. Here we found some mushrooms. You can see they are all around in a circle, with their caps displaying a variety of colors, ranging from deep brown to light beige. These mushrooms vary in size. Some are small and delicate, while others are larger and more robust. There are still some young ones that are quite suitable for food, due to their tender texture and rich flavor. We will carefully cut them using a sharp knife to ensure a clean cut and move on to see if there are any older ones nearby. However, these older mushrooms, which have a tougher texture and less appealing taste, are likely not good for preservation. The environment here is a dense, moist forest with a cool climate, perfect for mushroom growth. We will cut these mushrooms. These young ones are good and will be useful for us for preservation. To preserve them, we will dry them in a cool, dark place, ensuring they retain their flavor and nutritional value. We carefully put them in the bone for the frog. I believe it is not visible. There are no mushrooms, but there is a frog. Let's keep looking. Of course, when the sky is overcast, it is very difficult to navigate in the forest. Therefore, in order not to get lost, I use a very useful phone on which a program is installed. I am going home. Here I mark the point where our boat is, and I just press the button.
We are going home. We are moving on.
They will tell us how to find our boat. Let's go. And you are at 130 degrees, well, a little to the left of 100 before. In the dense and sprawling forest, where the trees stand tall and the leaves rustle gently in the breeze, numerous empty bottles, discarded carelessly by previous visitors, can be seen scattered. It seems that someone, perhaps not fully aware of the item's value or significance, decided to throw it away. This action might have been done without much thought or consideration, possibly due to a lack of understanding of what the item could offer or represent. On the way to the boat, you can certainly look for mushrooms, taking advantage of the opportunity. It guides us. We will go. I wear rubber boots. I put them on to avoid getting my feet wet in the swamps and to have a good exit from the boat without wetting my feet. Mushrooms are usually found in such hollows and channels because the humidity is typically higher here, as fog can descend in this area. Therefore, The most favorable places for mushrooms are the depressions and valleys. The forest is very dark today. Of course, when the sun is out, it's easier to find the way out, because there is at least some kind of landmark. You can now navigate easily by the wind or by the moss, but the moss is very deceptive, and so you can potentially get even more lost. Turn right, 110 degrees. The channel is already visible clearly in the distance, which indeed means the boat, which is not very far away, is not far away at all. It happens sometimes that good trees, which are beautiful and majestic, have unfortunately fallen over. In such places, you would typically expect to find mushrooms growing around them. Well, here is our boat. Let's settle down. This is how we navigate in the forest. We will continue to paddle and see if anyone is around. Here, we will look for oyster mushrooms. There is a whole bunch of fly agarics. We won't take them. Of course, if the forest is large, in a dense and vast forest, it's quite easy indeed to get lost, because as you move from one mushroom to another, becoming disoriented and confused, losing sight of your point of reference in the wilderness. That's why you need to take either a compass or any other device with you. Otherwise, you'll be wandering around for a long time before you find either your car or your boat. Is it not visible to you perhaps at all at this moment? There. Here is the forest area. It is mainly poplar. And on the left side, there is acacia, where the acacia is. There are very large piles of mushrooms. Unfortunately, they are not oyster mushrooms, and these mushrooms are not edible. They often say that the young, tender wooden mushroom is indeed edible when it is young, but its overall taste is not very good at all. Let's go along the wooden table and take a little bit of a look and examine it. A bunch of everything except what we need. There are these kinds of mushrooms. There are already myceliums on the trees. Here are the oyster mushrooms, but they haven't started to grow yet at this moment. In this area, there is a noticeable line of mushrooms. These mushrooms are spread across the ground, creating a unique pattern. They vary in size and color, adding to the natural beauty. It is quite evident and unmistakable that they have been broken. Someone, perhaps with ill intentions, attempted to cut them with some force. Of course, if they were indeed oyster mushrooms, it would be very nice and delightful to find such a treasure trove of nature's bounty. Well, Let's go and look for something else that might be interesting and captivating to our curious minds. The vibrant and lush green grass is breaking through on the street. It's October, but surprisingly, it's still warm and pleasant, almost like a gentle embrace of the lingering summer. If you are interested in visiting that particular location, you have the option to make your way over there at your convenience. Everything is blocked here. We need to find a way around. Where are we going, perhaps? We need to head to the boat immediately. Look over there on the tree. You can see them appearing, the mushrooms that we have been searching for all this time, finally. These are the ones we have been eagerly waiting to find. They are still quite small, as expected, and we might not pick them just yet, but soon enough it will rain heavily and they will grow significantly bigger. So we need to fill this particular spot with care. You can also do this in this program. Set a marker and then come back in about 2 weeks to cut them. These mushrooms are truly beautiful, and it's a shame if no one comes to pick them. In this forest, our mushrooms are cleverly hiding, nestled under the leaves and branches, waiting for someone to discover their beauty and take them home. They add a touch of magic to the forest floor, making it a delightful place to explore. We will carefully cut the young, excellent, not particularly bitter milk mushrooms. A quite worthy specimen indeed. If we come across some mushrooms, we should right away and thoroughly look around in the vicinity of our location. Here we can see that a small handful of these fascinating and intriguing milk mushrooms is also hiding off to the side. They grow in whole clusters in the forest as we explore. Young mushrooms, especially the ones that are freshly picked and still tender, are particularly tasty and delicious, so I always prefer to choose young milk mushrooms whenever I have the option. Here they are well hidden in the dense forest, where the environment provides a perfect camouflage. The mushroom, although not the most elite or sought after by gourmet chefs, is still quite suitable for pickling and frying, just like other mushrooms found in the wild. Here are such absolutely beautiful, incredibly fascinating mushrooms. We'll wash them off the sand and start preserving them. Here's another small milk mushroom. Let's absolutely cut it. This perfectly beautiful white one is indeed just right, gorgeous and elegant. And there is also some evidence of their presence nearby. Here you can clearly see how the boar was at work, leaving behind distinct signs of its activity. The disturbed earth and the surrounding area showed the tears of the boar as it dug through the vegetation and undergrowth. It seems that they are most likely in search of something that they can eat, perhaps scouring the area for any edible items or food sources that might be available to satisfy their hunger or nutritional needs. Yes, there are wild pears, wild apples, and for the boar, this is the main food. And there are also bottles lying around. Fishermen and mushroom pickers have rested here and scattered them. The intense heat, the forest is diversely mixed, with poplar interspersed with larch and scattered, so there are not a significant number of oyster mushrooms here, even when the weather is good and vibrant. It starts to rain, which is unpleasant. I need to go to the boat and take cover with film. These are some pits that are not very clear in the ground, or it seems there used to be a cellar having a strictly rectangular shape, or the burrow, it seems, perhaps belonged to someone. Let's go further. The rain is drizzling, which is certainly unpleasant. Therefore, it is preferable to go out in good weather. Here, there is also a pit, even lined with wooden tiles. There was probably a cellar of keta here. So in the middle of the forest there are cellars. Here, I found some interesting mushrooms. It's interesting. I don't know these mushrooms. So if you know what they are, please write your comments. The mushroom's cap is a brownish color, which is quite distinctive. This cap is not just a simple covering. It plays a crucial role in the mushroom's life cycle. Underneath this brownish cap, there is, if you have any opinions on this matter, please write. I would be very happy. Here there used to be a small house. You can see the traces of tiles lying here, ovens, and a small elevation. Here are the mushrooms, which we have carefully cut open to examine. Upon inspection, we can clearly see the traces of the foundation and the logs that were used. It is evident that the structure either collapsed during that time or was deliberately destroyed. These are known as derberoids, an ancient and well-known mushroom. It has spread out well from us, reaching far and wide. It is quite good to nibble on, especially when fresh. And not old at all. We really need to look around very carefully. Perhaps indeed there are absolutely more mushrooms hidden somewhere. We have lit the fire, and on this fire we will roast the most Ukrainian product, fat. It is a bit salty, and then we just need to carefully slice it into smaller pieces. Let's make improvised skewers, and there will be a real telecolor. The rain has finally stopped pouring down, which is a relief. Now, with the skies clearing and the sun peeking through, we can take a moment to relax and rest. It's a good time to unwind, enjoy the fresh air, and appreciate the calm after the storm. Such a beautiful, still life has turned out. It has everything a true mushroom picker and fisherman needs. It is very important that the forest does not catch fire since we are nearby. So we will keep a very careful and vigilant eye on the fire. We are threading bread onto sticks. And in between, we are placing fat, creating this improvised skewer. Now we just need to roast it over the fire, and we can confidently and safely have a delicious lunch indeed. Please hold on for a moment while we process your request. Thank you for your patience. To achieve the best results, it is essential to ensure that the food is fried thoroughly and evenly. The process of frying should be done with care, as the fat used in this method of cooking adds a rich flavor and enhances the overall taste of the dish. The skewers that we are using for this particular cooking process are probably a bit on the short side. Ideally, they should have been crafted to be longer in length to better suit our needs. However, this is not a major issue because we have 3 different approaches that will suffice for our purposes. The primary concern here is to ensure that the fat from the meat does not catch fire and burn, while the bread, on the other hand, does get toasted to a certain degree. The fat is unlikely to burn due to the way we are managing the heat, but the bread will indeed toast and become crispy, which is exactly what we want, right? You have a good campfire. It's really impressive. In the early morning, as the sun began to rise and cast a warm glow over the landscape, we embarked on a series of short, brisk runs. Our goal was to prepare ourselves for the task ahead, which involved roasting a selection of ingredients to perfection. The aroma that filled the air was nothing short of extraordinary, a delightful blend of rich, savory scents that tantalized our senses. The smell was a harmonious combination of the earthy, robust fragrance of freshly ground coffee beans mingling with the sweet, buttery essence of fried bread. It was a sensory experience that was both invigorating and comforting, evoking memories of cozy breakfast and leisurely weekend mornings. As we continued our preparations, the anticipation of tasting the final product grew, promising a culinary delight that would satisfy both the palate and the soul. Here are the Rabniki caps we made, crafted with precision and care. These caps are designed to reflect our commitment to quality and style, ensuring durability and comfort. The main thing is not to overcook. The edges are burnt, but that's okay. It won't make it any worse. If there is such shashlik, then nothing else is needed for complete happiness. Now let's get started with lunch. The campfire has gone out, lunch is over, and it's safe to continue the quiet hunt. The wiring is still not worse. We are planning to swim across to the opposite shore, where we hope to find and experience the happiness that awaits us there, as we believe it is a place filled with joy and contentment. Upon our arrival on the beautiful and serene island, we were immediately captivated by the lush surroundings. As we explored the area, we stumbled upon a small but fascinating patch of oyster mushrooms nestled among the foliage. These mushrooms, with their delicate and unique appearance, were a delightful find and added to the charm of our adventure on this enchanting island. Of course, indeed, it's a little bit, but you know, taking into account that today we have mushrooms, the oyster mushrooms are, after all, already a celebration for us. There is certainly a bit more moisture here because on that side there are swamps and more humid air comes in. At night, of course, we would set it on fire, but we will cut them off and trim them. A wooden mushroom, a nice stump like this. Later on, there may be a good harvest here. In the serene forest, a majestic fallen tree lay across the path, its branches reaching out like arms, creating a natural bridge over the gentle stream below. The object possesses a distinct reddish-brown hue, which is quite noticeable. When you look at the bottom part of this object, you will find that it is equipped with a solid and sturdy plate. This plate is hard and provides a firm base, ensuring stability and support. Or the length for the wooden row, somewhere around 3 meters. There are also eggplants scattered all over the forest. A gentle, unpleasant drizzle has softly and gently started, and here is some kind of mushroom in the shape of a small mushroom. At this moment, the primary focus is on the numerous wooden mushrooms that are prominently visible in the surrounding area. These mushrooms, crafted from wood, are the main elements that catch the eye. Not even milk caps are visible in this part of the forest. We discovered our favorite place in the woods. It's a serene spot where we can find milk caps, which are young, vibrant, and beautiful mushrooms. This place holds a special charm for us, and there are hedgehogs, rasia, milk caps, and in the distance, I need to go outside and gather some items, specifically to cut them. Here is a basket that you can use for the household chores. It will help in carrying everything efficiently. It is very easily and quickly gnawed, most probably by small creatures like mice and other small creatures. The forest is incredibly dense and thick with trees and underbrush, making it extremely difficult and challenging to walk through this area. Because of this, we will have to carefully and slowly make our way through, navigating around obstacles and finding the best path forward. There are also a variety of different types of young mushrooms here. Right now I am trimming some mushrooms. I need to make my way deeper into the distance. They grow in the most difficult, hard to reach, and inaccessible places in the world. We will cut here.
Support.
We can catch some on the last sides, somewhere around here. Well, our peaceful and quiet mushroom hunt has come to an end. We walked a bit in the forest, looked around, and realized that it is still very early. Only a few more milk mushrooms ended up in our basket. The weather is just starting to get wet. Before that, we had a drought. Today, we mainly had milk mushrooms in the basket, with a few small oyster mushrooms. But this is just the beginning. They haven't fully grown yet. We have about 10 kilograms of milk mushrooms in our collection, so our mushroom hunting wasn't in vain. Instead, we enjoyed nature, breathed in the fresh air, rested, and trained our legs in rubber boots, while admiring the beauty of our floodplains. The girl Vasya is happy, meaning our quiet mushroom hunt was not in vain. Thank you for being on our channel. Everyone, adults and children, watched our show. Next time we will go a bit later, in a couple of weeks. When there is good rain, perhaps we will catch more little mushrooms, and it will be a completely different story. So stay with us, subscribe to our channel. Goodbye everyone.